Hello and welcome back to the LFC transfer room. I'm joined today by Dan, Bob, and James. I'll start with you, Dan. How are you doing today?
We're buzzing. We're buzzing. What a match against Everton. Uh, Sadly, I couldn't watch it, but I mean, after watching the highlights and stuff, I'm just over the moon to see Liverpool back to its best. I mean, if you take a look at all the Premier League last matches that we had, we're just destroying every single team that gets in our way. We're great. I love it.
Yeah, Bob, feel the same about Everton? Happy about the result?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like I said before the game, I wanted us to absolutely batter them, and they got a battering. Should have been more, but we'll settle the 4-1. And I mean, even the one was just it frustrated me at the time because it was unnecessary. But all in all, good result.
Yeah, and James, finally, how are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm looking forward to tomorrow, even though it's not on terrestrial TV. I think anytime Liverpool are going away at the moment, everyone's scared. We're scoring 3-4 goals away just consistently. I think everyone talks about being scared to come to Anfield. I think everyone's scared of Liverpool coming to their stadium at the moment and the impact that it can have on the fans. So can't wait to do it to Wolves, really.
Yeah, definitely. And also, too, just a quick one before we get into the actual match preview. If you are watching us on Twitter, there is a link below the tweet. Join us on YouTube. You'll be able to get your comments in and interact with us. So make sure you do join us on YouTube. But really quickly, obviously we'll touch just a little bit on the Everton game. Obviously, it's another game where we have scored over 2 goals. If my memory serves me correct, I think we're the first English side ever to now score 2 or more goals in 18 consecutive games, going back since football started. So, obviously, our goal threat, it's not to be played with. And Everton found that out on Wednesday. But Bob, really quickly, how impressed were you with the front three, especially Sadio Mane? Not Sadio Mane, he was probably the worst one. Salah and Jota up front.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Salah, we know what we're getting really. It's get to the point now where he scores the 2 goals, and it's not like a shrug of the shoulders, but it's not a surprise kind of thing. It's all right, yeah, but Jota just keeps on being more impressive game by game. It's now getting to the point where I think he makes our best 11, even with Firmino fit. And that's not to say Firmino is rubbish or anything, but evolution happens sometimes to football teams, and this happens to happen to be the position that it's evolving now. He's got literally in front of goal, you can trust him now. He's absolutely deadly. So, yeah, the front three, especially Jota, I was really, really impressed.
Yeah, and James as well. There was obviously another standout performer in that game, Jordan Henderson. Obviously, at the moment, our midfield three sort of picks itself, maybe with the likes of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain coming in. But Jordan Henderson, how impressed have you been since he has returned from injury?
It's funny, isn't it? Everyone says Jordan Henderson just passes it sideways and backwards, whereas in the last few games we've been seeing these incredibly difficult straight through balls. Normally at an angle, people put them in the match the run, but Jordan Henderson's just hitting them straight, backspin, landing perfectly in the run of the attackers, and we're scoring goals off it and creating chances off it. The way he interacts with Salah and Trent on that right-hand side, there's always one of them free, and his crossing is, yes, it's not Trent level, but nobody in the world's Trent level. It's definitely up there in the top 5 in the Premier League at the moment, how he's putting the ball across. It's causing so many issues. And that right-hand side, people will say Kevin De Bruyne is the best, but that right-hand side is probably the best in world football at this moment in time. The way that they interconnect with each other, with Fabinho covering it, and you could start to talk about right centre-backs, but those three, they know where they're going to be, they know who's going to be there, and they're just, it's telepathy at the moment, those three, which is great to see.
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, the 2 results last year against Wolves, we beat them 4-0 at Anfield and scraped a 1-0 win away at Molineux, obviously, with a Diogo Jota goal. I'll go to you, Dan. Do you think Jota is going to play a part in this game? Because obviously he's impressed a lot this season. I think, coming off the form he was in last year, he's carried that form over and probably improved even more. Again, I think he's the 4th top goal scorer behind Jamie Vardy, on tied with Sadio Mane. So are you expecting him to bag, especially with the amount of goals we're scoring as well?
Absolutely. I mean, another thing that you really have to consider is the fact that Liverpool are currently playing a lot more through that right side, right? So Liverpool are basically, they're not a one-man team, but they're trying to do everything possible to accommodate Salah to score as many goals as possible because he's deadly. But the fact that Diogo Jota being on that left side and he's still bagging goals every chance whenever he gets the opportunity is just incredible. I think not Liverpool fans, but maybe just fans around the world from different teams are just leaping on his ability. He's definitely one of the best forwards that the Premier League and Europe has right now. The fact that he is basically being played anywhere. He could be a striker, he could be a left winger, a right winger. It doesn't matter where you put Diogo Jota. He's always going to shine, guaranteed. I'm pretty sure you guys remember whenever Mohamed Salah came in, or maybe Sadio Mane came in, despite being amazing performers, there was always critics about something. Maybe Sadio Mane is missing too many chances. Or maybe Salah is missing too many chances the first couple years. Or maybe Salah is missing chances or not passing the ball or something. But with Diogo Jota, you're getting the complete package. He's amazing in the air. He's deadly on the foot with both feet. His dribbling ability and speed is amazing. He's just a complete forward. I mean, we just managed to grade a huge gamble on that player. So yeah, I'm just happy, and I think he's going to play a huge part in that Wolves game as well.
Yeah,
I've got to be honest. I didn't think Jota was a great signing. I 45 million for him. I was like, what are we doing? He wasn't starting for Wolves, but you're right. That first touch for the goal against Everton was just brilliant, and then just drilled it with his left foot. I didn't expect it because I was like, I don't think he's fast enough for our front three, but he really is. He's quite a skiddy and quite a clever little player.
It just teaches you how much statistical analysis and maybe numbers and football in general has improved, because I was reading a few articles from, I believe it was James Pierce and a few other outlets, saying that Diogo Jota was mainly a scout and an analytics signing. I mean, of course, club loved him, but when you went to see his metrics, his stats, his numbers, his pressing numbers, all these numbers were just saying that he's a perfect Liverpool player. So it just teaches you that maybe sometimes the eye deceives you and it doesn't tell you the full story. But I mean, what a signing. I mean, even for the price that was it 40, 30, and then plus 10 later, something like that. It was
54 million, but paid in 10 million installments.
Totally worth it. He's playing like a 75
and there's a
million
Keanu Hoover
player.
10 million discount on that.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, look, he's been absolutely unbelievable this season. He's scoring goals, he's getting in them positions. I personally think he's been offering what Firmino would offer, but better. He's finishing chances. I think I saw a heat map where his position was like in a centre forward attacking midfield and spread across the wings. So, I don't think we lose the presence of Firmino when he's coming. And I agree. I think it's going to be really, really difficult to make a case for Firmino to get back into this side with how Jota's performing. But obviously Jota making a return to Wolves again. Again, he scored it at the Molineux last season to make us get 3 points. This is going to be a massive game as well. Chelsea, City, they don't look like they're dropping points at any time soon. And a big key with them is the defences. Everyone's defence has been playing amazing this season, especially Chelsea's. Manchester City, similar with us, they attack to defend. But I think the back four is set at the moment. There is obviously Konate, Matip. That's the debate. I did see a few people blame Matip on the Everton goal. But I think it was a bit of everybody, just losing concentration in a second. But with the winter break coming up as well, we're playing 3 games a week. So is it, we give Matip a rest and start Canate? But Bob, who do you think is going to start in, as Van Dijk's partner?
I think it will still be Matip. I think the goal against Everton, I think Klopp spoke about it today, really. He said obviously Trent was a bit too far out from the rest of the defence on the assumption that the ball will be kept on the left-hand side, which wasn't, and then the gap appeared, and that's how they ended up scoring. And with AC Milan coming up in midweek, that's where I think the rotation will come, with the Konate, Tsimikas back in, because again, it's another dead rubber game. But Everton and Wolves, like I said before, the Everton game, we needed to get 6 points out of it. By the time we kick off tomorrow, we're going to know what the Chelsea result is. So if Chelsea, by any means, have dropped points away to West Ham, it's even bigger than that. You have to capitalise on that. So I think it will be Matip again. I think the back four will be the same, with changes coming in midweek.
Yeah, I mean, James, do you agree? Another question I do want to pose to you, though. Obviously, again, as I said, the winter break is absolutely bananas. We're going to be having, 3 games a week. And again, we've got Curtis Jones isn't fully fit. Naby Keita's just come back into training. Harvey Elliott's still out for a long time. Milne has just come back. So we really do only have 4 midfielders at the moment. Fabinho, who has to start every game. Thiago, Henderson and Oxlade-Chamberlain. Before Thiago come back in, I think we can all agree Oxlade-Chamberlain was playing some of the best football we've seen since he got injured against Roma. Is there a shout to bring him in for either Thiago or Henderson, since they both do pick up injuries?
Not for me at this moment in time. I think it's when Fabinho and Thiago have played together, we've won 13 of 14, and I think we've scored 32 goals. So those two players, when they both start together, we are deadly. And I think a lot of Thiago, a lot of the games played in his head before, he even starts running or anything. He's a very intelligent player. So whilst I think there is a good call for Ox to get more game time and come through, I think now at the moment is the time to go with the strongest lineup. As we start to move towards the winter break in January and the Christmas period, we do need to rotate, because a knock on Thiago, he is quite prone. Konate was quite prone before he came in. Matip's quite prone. But if at the same time, if people are playing well, we want to keep that momentum going. So you don't necessarily want to pull someone out just on the off chance they might get injured, because they might just play the season of their life if you let them carry on playing. So I would stick with our midfield 3, because they're so strong at the moment. Nobody wants to face them, and we're scoring goals for fun.
Yeah, obviously Anthony's just said Ox isn't good enough to start. So hopefully Kris isn't watching. I know he's at a concert at the moment, so he won't have me for that. Yeah, massive Ox fan I think that's a bit of an understatement. But again, guys, if you are watching on Twitter, please do come and join on YouTube. You can get your comments in, like Anthony. Great example, Anthony. So yeah, it's right underneath the tweet. And come and join us, get your comments in, because for some reason Twitter doesn't let you have comments up, so a bit broken. But Dan, do you feel the same as Bob and James? Keep the same lineup as Everton and Arsenal and Southampton. I think Southampton and Everton. We've at the end of the day we've scored 12 goals in the past 3 games. 4, 4, and 4. So it's hard to drop anyone when you're on that type of run.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you something. It is no coincidence that Liverpool are currently playing the best football ever, I will argue, since Thiago started playing next to Fabinho and Henderson, as well as removing Firmino for Diogo Jota. And I'll tell you why. Last season, the season when we won the Champions League, Liverpool had a midfield 3 of Wijnaldum, Fabinho, and Henderson, right? Liverpool were playing at a pretty impressive style. We were scoring, we were defensively solid and stuff, but there was at least 40% of people saying that despite Gini Wijnaldum performing above average, he still got a lot of hate. People still wanted more from Gini, because he didn't offer much rather than stability in midfield. Gini Wijnaldum leaving and Thiago coming in just added a different aspect to the game. Jurgen Klopp managed to fill that gap that Wijnaldum leaving left in the team, which defensively and maybe stability-wise with Hendo and Fabinho, he kind of tweaked the roles. And with Thiago now, we're getting something different. We're improving. We went to this different level. So I think there's no argument to be about who's going to be starting week in and week out. Thiago is the one in that midfield. If you ask me, I think he's the best midfielder in that team. And yes, people are going to argue, Fabinho's more consistent, Fabinho's stronger, this and that. But Fabinho, you have to take him out of the conversation because there's no other player in that midfield three that does what he does. So technically speaking, ability-wise, Thiago is the best midfielder that we have, and he adds that extra aspect to the game that we needed. And now we're seeing that we can get with him on midfield. So yeah, I think this is the best midfield three we can get, and there shouldn't be any argument about who's going to start week in and week out. Maybe Henderson interchanging, but that's just a topic for maybe another day.
Mm-hmm. James as well. Obviously, we are playing Wolves, so let's have a bit of a conversation on Wolves' attack. They've drawn the last two games against Burnley and Norwich. Probably two games that they were hoping to win. Again, obviously, Raul Jimenez has come back from his head fracture. I think Pedro Neto is coming back. I'm not sure if he's going to be fit, though. And obviously, someone who we've been linked with a lot, Adama Traore. Do you think they can cause Liverpool a problem tomorrow, or do you think the back four has got them covered?
I'm a big fan of Jimenez. I actually thought he'd be a great signing for Liverpool, before his head fracture, just because he was very different in his approach. And he had very good touch and he worked hard. But I think the one I was more scared of in the Wolves lineup was Daniel Podence, because he's a very unpredictable player. He's very fast, he's very quick, but he's got a positive COVID test. So he's unavailable for this game against Wolves. So then we are talking about, maybe Neto's coming back, maybe Traore's playing. And Huang, who has been obviously their best attacker so far this year. He's got the most goals. He's scored more than everyone else. But it depends how Wolves set up. Liverpool are vulnerable if they play a low block, and then they hit a diagonal and try and hit Jimenez behind Trent because he's gone forward, and then use the pace to get in behind of Traore. That is how I would play if I was Wolves, and that is how I try to take advantage of Liverpool, which may mean they play Canate instead of Matip for some of that pace. But they should be more worried about us than we are them. And I think the one positive I've got in the Wolves, I think it's Connor Cody's 250th game. Obviously, an ex-Liverpool graduate. It's great to see someone that's come through our academy get so many games for Wolves, and obviously he's their captain. But I don't think there's anything in that attack, apart from maybe a goal on the break, that we've got to be worried about.
Yeah, I mean, look, Southampton started the first half against us in a 5 at the back. Liverpool fans knew that was suicide as soon as it happened. We saw what's happened with teams when they try to play 5 at the back against us. Wolves play a similar system. They have Kilman, Cody, and Saiss in the back three, with Semedo and Nori on both flanks. Kilman, bit of a makeshift centre back, was a full back. Saiss, very unpredictable. And at the moment, you can ask any Wolves fan and they don't rate Connor Cody. So, Bob, do you think this is going to be another bloodbath? Do you think we're going to, 5 at the back, we know what happens? Is it going to be 4-5 again? Or will the fact that Wolves have been playing a back 5, through a long time, will that help them out a bit more?
Yeah, I think it will. I think it will help them out. And the fact that the last few games, they haven't really been conceding that many goals. They haven't been scoring many, but they haven't been conceding many. I'm still confident we'll win, but I don't think and we'll get the customary 2 goals minimum, but I don't think it will be as clear cut per se. It might be 2-0 or maybe 3-1, 2-1. But yeah, I do still think we'll get the result. But like you said, because they're used to playing with the back 3, They've got threat on the counter attack. I think Southampton tried even the manager said he tried something new on the day, which was a bit crazy, really, considering he's never done it, and it just came apart, really. But yeah, against Wolves, I think, to me, the threat really just comes from Traore. And I know he's unpredictable, and you never know what you're going to get kind of threatening-wise, but literally, unless someone hacks him down, which tends to be the way people stop him, or you double up on him, which we've done, and we've managed him quite well. I remember when we played there, is it last year, like you said, when Jota scored? I think it was the beginning of our run, when we went the last 10 games unbeaten to get the top 4, and that was the first win we got there, after some shabby performances, obviously, with the injuries and stuff. So I still think we'll be able to get the job done. But yeah, Traore really, and Jimenez scoring wise, but I believe we're a bit more, obviously, we're a lot more solid than we were last year. So we should be able to get.
Can I intercept just for a second? I think we are also. I'm not sure if he's available for the game, Charlie. If you have any access to that, you can correct me if I'm wrong. But I think we're underestimating a lot the fact that Trincao is also available at the disposal for this game. The Barcelona player that is on loan currently for Wolves. Wolves it's pretty obvious that Wolves is playing a more defensive approach, but all their attackers are quick as hell. I mean, they're just so fast. It doesn't matter if we're talking about Pedro Neto. It doesn't matter if we're talking about Trincao, Adama Traore, Podense, which is like, I didn't know about his COVID results, or even Huang. Huang is one of the fastest players in that team as well. Even though he's a striker, he can be deployed more on the left wing as well. And one thing that we know for sure is that Liverpool struggle when we have fast players. The likes of Sterling comes to mind, the likes of Richarlison. Even though we defeated Everton, we struggle when they have quick, fast, unpredictable players. So I think we do not have to underestimate. I do think Liverpool is going to win, but I do fear that the result could end up being like a 4-2 or a 5-3. I don't know. I just see like it's a very vulnerable game to keep a clean sheet.
Not sure if anyone remembers one when we played Salzburg at home in the Champions League, when it was him and Minamino. And I'm sure, I remember everyone watching Minamino going, yeah, they look good together. I think he scored. I think he
turned Van Dijk inside out.
I was going to ask you that. Was he the one that took Van Dijk out? Wow.
Yeah. And he's very fun. So,
regarding Trincao, he is available. He just doesn't play for them. He comes on as like a sub in the 80th minute. But I just want to bring up something that Drew said here. Obviously, we're talking about their attack, but they are struggling for goals. You know, Jimenez hasn't, since his fracture, I think he's only scored 1 goal. Traore, we know he has that. We know he has everything apart from the finishing. And again, Huang has been, Wolves' best player this season, but he isn't even their player. So it is one that maybe, we can capitalise on. Hopefully their defence is a bit shaky and we do, grab some goals going forward. But I guess we will sort of like wrap it up with score predictions, unless anyone else has anything to add.
I wanted to ask you guys, I want to know if this is just me, but has this season been the one that we've seen a more human like Van Dijk? I seen him struggle more than before. He's still solid as ever. But I'm starting to see him being more human, like having more, not mistakes, but the players being able to not roll past him, but cause some damage. Am I right to believe that maybe the excluding Wijnaldum from the Liverpool formula is making him seem a bit more vulnerable?
I think he's just coming back from the injury, really, and he's taking his time with it, to be honest. Not like he's taking his time on purpose, but he's taking time for him to... Because I remember watching or listening to an interview once where they asked him about taking free kicks, and he said he doesn't really want to keep shooting. I mean, he tried it against Everton, but that was specifically to just bury one in just to get back at them. But I'm sure at the time he said he doesn't want to keep trying it on that knee. Not that he's not fit enough, but it's kind of an unnecessary thing for him to do, basically. Whereas
he's being cautious.
Yeah, he's been cautious. That's the word. Yeah, he's been cautious. That's right. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's being that poor. Obviously, look, he's like Lionel Messi, isn't he? If he can be playing at the best centre-back level in the world, and unless he's doing cartwheels and taking out 5 attackers and stuff, people are going to be like, oh, whatever. But at the end of the day, if any other centre-back in the league was performing how Van Dijk is performing now, there would be calls for him being the best defender in the world. Van Dijk is still far, far clear of everybody. As Daz has said here, he's taken time to get back to full strength. And even though he isn't at full strength, he still is by far the best defender in the world still. So absolutely nothing to worry about. But regarding Podence as well, programmers said they'll make a late decision on him. He may be available. Again, though, if he has missed through COVID and he hasn't trained for the past, yesterday, he probably isn't going to. I doubt they're going to throw him in. Maybe he might be available on the bench. But yeah, we'll go to score predictions. I'll start with you, Bob. What are your thoughts on the game and what will the final score be?
2-1 to Liverpool tomorrow.
James?
It sounds ridiculous, but I think it'll be another 4-0 because that'll be 4 on the trot. Away 4-0s, I think.
Has anyone ever won 4-0 4 times in a row? We didn't win. So. Has anyone scored 4 back-to-back because we didn't win 4 in a row, did we? But 4-0.
But I think
we have to go take the Man City.
To score. Salah always wants to score, and Jota wants to get one against Wolves. So I could see each of, I'm probably going to put a bet on each of them to score in the game, and then expect one of them to get 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'll get to you, Dan, but for me, this is the best Liverpool side I've ever seen, attacking wise. Every time we go forward, we look like we're going to score, which is
even when Coutinho was there, the Fat Four, remember?
Yeah, even before then, Suarez. It reminds me of I think that was the last time we scored 100 goals in a season too. Every time we went forward, we looked like we're going to score, and that's how it feels now. And again, with them all going for the golden boot, they all want to score, but it's refreshing to see that the passing as well. They get in positions, but if someone else is in a better place, I'll slot you in. So I think as well, this is the highest goals. I think we've scored 48 goals, the highest goals in Premier League history at this point. So we're on to break the record for all-time goals, but a bit of facts for you. But Dan, your score predictions?
I think it's definitely going to be not definitely, but I think we're 3-1 seems very achievable. Like I said, like James said, Salah's definitely going to score. Jota's definitely going to score. And I feel like one of the two actually is going to score again because, we just have so many chances. And Charlie, I got to disagree with this is the best football that we've seen. I feel like you guys have forgotten that time when we had the Fab Four. And obviously our defense was horrible, right? Because we had, Lovren, Van Dijk, Moreno, or whatever it was. And I just remember watching Coutinho, Salah, Mane, and Firmino all connecting. At that time, that was the best attack that I've seen in my life. I've never seen such an amazing football style. But we're getting close to that, I believe. I just think that Mane is not yet up there to the level where this Liverpool side can compete with that Liverpool side of, was it 2017, 2018? I don't know. But yeah, 3-1.
I think in the match prediction I wrote, I went 3-0. I reckon Salah's going to get another double. I'm still convinced he's going to break his record by at least 6 goals at the end of the season. So I'm going to go with a 3-0. But yeah, so this has been the preview. If you have been new, make sure you do leave a like and subscribe for some great content on the channel. I think we've had 3 videos go out today. An interview with the Athletics, Tim Spires. We've got a Gomez video and the podcast with the Anfield Agenda lads. So make sure you go and check out them videos, some late night viewing for you. But thank you to everyone. Bob,
just a quick one as well.
Yeah.
Obviously, all the kickoffs are staggered tomorrow between the top 3. So, it's Chelsea first, then we're the 3 o'clock, and then it's Man City. So, if Chelsea drop points, we just have to capitalize.
It's getting to that sort. Do us a favor.
Yeah, so we have to get the job done, man. Don't give the initiative to Man City at 5:30. Honestly.
Yeah, 100%. But again, Bob, James, Dan, thank you so much for joining us. And hopefully the Reds win tomorrow, and we'll be on here happy. But yeah, watch along and everything tomorrow, all the usual stuff. So yeah, thank you for joining and goodbye.
Take care.